Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Brew here on Brew Sports, a Friday edition of the program. Lots of great stuff to get to today, but the most important thing to talk about today is that Jamie actually has energy today. Wow! What a day to be alive.
I do.
Jamie,
Friday.
good day to you. How are you?
Yay, I'm good.
That's good.
This is a lot of
coffee
energy.
today, too. Cheers to you.
Yay.
Cheers to the weekend. We're hitting the coffee hard today, folks, so try to keep up with us if you can.
Yeah, I think I'm just on so little sleep that it's all just, I don't know where my tired went, but
So good.
I had a friend tell me yesterday that I sounded hungover, and I indeed was not.
What?
Yesterday, I was just tired.
Shame on you, friend.
Yeah, 5 a.m. comes really early, if you guys were wondering.
It really does, honestly. I mean, you sent me a text the other night because we were supposed to have a meeting, and I was like, I'm only free till like 9. She's like, yeah, because you're an adult that goes to bed on time. I'm like, true. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been going to bed at like 10 o'clock the last couple of nights, and I've been feeling a little bit more groggy in the mornings just because of the fact that I have been going to bed so much later than my usual bedtime.
Yeah.
Don't like it. Don't like it,
I try,
Jamie.
and I can't. I'll just lay there.
Because you got Harold biting your face off. That's
know.
why.
Really.
Stinking Harold. Tell the viewers what Harold did to you this morning. This is stinking cat.
So this morning I was getting ready, and I was like, I got some time to spare. Like, I'll go lay back down for a couple minutes because we all know that's a great idea. But anyways, so I leave my lights on because I figure I'll sleep later that way, and I put my comforter just over half my head, and the little brat came up and bit me in the nose. So then I swatted him away because, I don't know, he's full of piss and vinegar every morning. Thinks he can climb walls all of a sudden, which is something new that he's never done before.
Sounds like your cat's tripping on something.
I
Jamie.
know.
Climbing the walls.
Yeah. And then so then I fall back asleep for like 2 minutes, and he comes back and he puts his claws in my chin because I don't have him to claw, and they're like stuck in my chin. And I'm like, okay,
I wonder
great.
why you walked in with a cat hanging off your face.
Yeah,
this morning.
now
Like,
I'm
good
going
morning,
to have
Baxter.
cat claw marks on my
Harold's
chin all
just
day,
like
but-
hanging on to you. Like, all right,
Yeah,
here we go.
so-
Going to work with you today, Mom.
So don't get a cat because they're awful. Just kidding.
I had cats for a year and a half. Just recently, my wife and I did, and then we got rid of them because the first day we brought home our cats, when we had Beckham, one of our cats, Boo, decided to chew right through our comforter on our bed.
Yeah, probably because you
First
named
day.
him Boo.
No, he was named that before we got him, okay? We're not that stupid. I mean, you really think we would name our cats Boo and
I don't
Captain
know.
Jack?
Yes.
Come on. That's what they were called. It was Boo and Captain
You can
Jack.
rename a cat. They don't really know their names.
Well, they were already like a year and a half or 2 years. They were both 2 years old at the time when we got them, so we weren't going to like totally change who they were. They have an identity. They are well known.
an identity that you threw away when you got rid of them.
Hey, they went to a good family, okay? They went to my co-host on Happy Hour, Grant Coppersmith. So if people want to know how Boo and Captain Jack are, they can just talk to Grant about it. They seem to be doing okay? Let's not read it. We're not bad cat
Okay,
parents because we
Baxter.
did this. Does that make me a bad cat parent because I
Yes.
chose my human child over 2 cats?
It chewed your comforter, not your child.
But still, then it started there. Then they started ripping up the carpet. Then they started
you weren't
clawing at
showing
different
them
things.
enough TLC.
We were always home. We did exactly the same things. We just happened to have a baby at that point.
They were jealous.
I can't help that. They're cats. They're never happy. Even when we were like loving them, they'd be like, "Stop! Like, what do you want? Either I'm gonna love you or I'm not."
You have to let them come to you. That's why cats are so cool.
How has that been working for you with Harold ripping your face off?
Well, when I'm sleeping, not great. It's because I'm not showing him any attention. He loves me so much. He wants my attention all
He's like,
the time.
"Oh my gosh, Jamie, just love me right, meow."
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I did.
It was like nothing? No? Okay. All right. Well, Jamie, speaking of people we love and stuff we love, Tim Tebow.
Hey.
He's back.
He is.
Did you really think, folks, we were not going to talk about Tim Tebow's home run?
No, he has
Did
not
you?
asked me on a date, if that's where you thought
Did
we were going
you?
with this.
I know, Tim. Let's get it going. Tim freaking Tebow, he goes to bat for the very first time in his minor league debut and goes hog wild yard, hits a 2-run bomb, and then is proceeded to go on SportsCenter and be the talk of the entire town. Nowhere in any world is a 1A baseball player an ESPN headline. Nowhere.
Right.
And suddenly Tim Tebow does it.
It's because he's Tim Tebow.
Exactly. That's why I'm wearing my Yes Drama shirt today, because this is too much drama for me for freaking Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of drama today that we're going to talk about. I mean, this isn't bad, but like, really, ESPN? Come on. Why are you doing this? Stop.
Right, they could have talked about the Red Sox being undefeated so far and
Literally
whatever,
anything else but Tim Tebow.
Yeah. The only reason they did it is because he did so terrible in spring training.
I didn't think, did he do terrible though?
I mean, not as good as everyone was expecting him to do. I mean, but again, I guess everyone wanted him to fail probably. But I don't know. the only reason ESPN picked it up is because it's Tim Tebow. However, when I watched the video and he like stopped at second base because he wasn't sure if he hit a double or a home run, I was like, yeah, you stay humble, Tim Tebow. Like, he could have been like,
well, that's what he said after the game
run.
too, and he was like, I honestly didn't know it went over the fence until they were like,
yeah,
keep going, Tim, you good?
Yeah, so I enjoyed that.
Too much drama for Tim Tebow? Do you buy into the Firefly fluttery bout of him?
I'm sure he wasn't the only person that hit a home run yesterday, so like that's not fair.
It's not. Like, I mean, why? Why, Tim?
Oh, I thought you were like, why is it not fair? I'm like, because other people just did the same thing.
Well, no, I'm not saying why not. No, I'm just saying why. Like, why are we focusing in so much on this? We love to talk about him, and we knew. And I said this on Happy Hour too. I was like, we know that as soon as he does something big, it's going to be national news again. And like, I mean, seriously, I want any other player in 1A baseball to get an interview on ESPN. Like, it's not going to happen.
And like, Tim Tebow doesn't care that he was just on ESPN. He's always on ESPN.
Exactly. He works for an ESPN affiliate in the SEC network, so like, he's used to being on TV. I mean, did you ever love the, like, straight out of the shower, like, hair kind of gelled, like, still a little sweaty, like Tim Tebow looks? Like, that's when he does some of his interviews. Like, I mean, just in general, like,
do
athletes.
I like
just
the
athletes,
look of a sweaty man?
Well, like, the athletes in general, that it's like, oh, I just got out of the game. I just went and showered real quick, but I'm still kind of warm because my shower was a little hot, so my face is a little flushed, but I've got my hairstyle, but it's still kind of wet because it's not fully dried.
Yeah,
like,
and they can all come to breakfast with
and they're just like, here I am looking all sexy. Oh, my home run? Yes. I meant to do that. Like,
I'm so humble.
And Jamie's just like, yeah. You didn't bring Tim Tebow with you, though, to
I didn't.
to
Because there
brunch
were so
yesterday.
many other good options.
Well, Tim, I feel like is a sleeper pick for you next time. You know better next time.
We may back up from when Rob was too hungover to come to breakfast.
That's true. Rob who again? I always forget your guys'
Gronkowski.
Rob Gronkowski. That's what it was. Robert on Facebook says, good morning, guys. Good morning to you, Robert. Good to see you. Welcome to the Morning Brew here on our Friday edition. Tim Tebow, give us your thoughts about him in the comment section below. Overrated, underrated, overhyped. Yes, drama, all that. Give it to us this morning. We need to hear it all. I need the drama. I live for drama. So much drama. Speaking of drama, our man, actually he's more like Tanner's man, LeVar Ball.
Yeah.
Did you know that he hates white people?
I didn't until this morning or last night.
Now, saying that he hates white people might be a bit strong.
He hates white people that play basketball with his kids.
So that therefore he hates white people. So if you didn't hear about this, LeVar Ball has come out and said that he blames the white basketball players on UCLA for UCLA's Sweet 16 loss.
Yep.
You can't say that.
No, you can't.
You just can't say that. That's like me saying I hate Jamie because she's a woman. You can't
Which
say that.
he does. Not.
You can't say stuff like this.
Right.
I mean, basketball, and I don't... what's the nice way to say this? Basketball is run by African Americans. Totally understand. It is the sport that it has been proven without any sort of anything that they are just better at playing. That's just the honest truth about it.
Right.
They're better at almost every professional sport aside from maybe one or two. But, I mean... Why do you have to go out and say something like this? Why can't you just say some of the players on the team just didn't play their best? Why do you have to say the white players on the team?
And he said some pretty outlandish things in the last couple of weeks, as we've talked about on the show, but this is, like, by far one that could really, like, that's low. Like, low blow, all because you didn't think they were fast enough. You didn't think they were fast enough to keep up with your son, and that's why they lost. No. Basketball is not an individual sport.
Here's a news flash for anybody that doesn't know this. LeVar Ball's wife is white. Real fast. Just leave that there. LeVar Ball's wife is white. The kids are clearly mixed kids. LeVar, totally black, totally understandable. Mama Ball, super pretty, but also white.
Mama Ball.
She is very white.
Yeah, he said, realistically, you can't win no championship with three white guys because the foot speed is too low. I told Lonzo one of these games you might need to go for 30 or 40 points. Okay.
I mean, in what universe is this allowed? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Here's what I would be concerned about is him saying that makes, like, he said it, but I'm afraid that it's going to hurt his kids.
He's been hurting his kids since day one.
Right, but him talking crap about Steph Curry and Michael Jordan, like, that has nothing to do with his kids. But, like, him being a I'm not going to say he's a racist because he's probably not. He just talks a lot of smack to talk smack, get his name in the news some more. But, like, he just looks dumb, and now his kids look like the fact that they haven't come out and said anything. Like, if my dad said that, right, I would. This is to the point where I would go out and publicly say something now. At this
You have to at that point. I mean, I would literally be like, Dad, you're basically insulting your wife and half of each of your sons, like,
and your teammates who. Lonzo, like, when you're in a team with someone, like, you become their, like, your family with them. Like, he's now insulting his other family.
Exactly, and it's not, I mean, Lonzo and TJ Leaf as well from UCLA both declared for the NBA draft, so it's not like, apparently TJ Leaf isn't getting yelled at, be like, sorry, TJ, you're too white to play in the NBA. It's like, oh, sure, great, good, we'll hopefully have a team for you kind of a thing. Like, I mean, LeVar could have also gone a step farther and be like, well, if my son was fully black, maybe he would have scored 40 points a game. Like, LeVar, like, I don't know. I don't understand the context of him. Why? Did he think he was sitting at home all night? Like, he's like, I haven't been in the news for like a day. I need something.
Could I say?
I need to say something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Man, those white guys on our team are really slow. Yeah, I'm going to say something. That might be. Yeah.
That sounds like a good
LeVar,
idea.
Yeah, LeVar, that's a good idea. I like that idea.
I was out of the Brew Sports talk for 3 days. I'm going to
Right?
piss them off for the next 2.
Tim Tebow and LeVar probably powwowed somewhere and was like, all right, I'm going to hit a home run, and you go say you hate white people. All right, good. We'll see you tomorrow on the Brew Sports. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So dumb. Philium here says, Lonzo did the smart thing and hired an agent, some damage control. Yeah. He also goes on to say, he's like my ex-girlfriend. All attention is good attention. He doesn't believe there is bad attention. Thank you that you said she's an ex-girlfriend, because I'd be concerned about your well-being there, Philium. But, like, wow.
Philium.
I mean, is that not how you say it? I don't even know.
No, it is, but his name's Phil. But it's just funny.
Philium. That's why I was like, I think this is how you pronounce it, so we're going to call him Philium.
I like it.
Hey, go figure. He's from Sheboygan.
Yeah.
Cheers to you, Sheboygan.
Oh, boy.
We need our own, like, drinking game or bingo game for the Morning Brew. Anytime Sheboygan gets referenced, anytime Jaymee, we got to have something. Got to keep it lively, keep it spicy. But really, though, when you look at this, as you out there watching, if any of you are parents or any of you, of course, have a parent, if this was your parent, as in LeVar Ball, coming out and saying that he was blaming the people of an opposite race on your team for the reason that you lost, not maybe because of the fact that his son didn't play very good, but that's irrelevant to the conversation, apparently. How do you honestly react to something like this? Because I find this to just be downright cowardly and just appalling. That's really what it is. Like, I have no real words to put into context to how I feel about him insulting the white players on his son's team.
I think he's just so blinded by his own kids. Like, he refuses to see anything that they do wrong. So he's just digging for other reasons to.
That's just so like unrealistic, though, and I feel like he is just absolutely burying his kids and putting them in this just thing that is just never going to be a good. They're never going to be liked.
Especially with how sensitive people are these days. Like, that is one thing you probably should not pick at.
Yeah,
because people don't like discrimination. Like, people are sensitive.
That's not like trying to be like. That's not us trying to be mean. Like, that's just the truth.
Right.
Like, people just don't like it.
Right.
People don't like to be made fun of nowadays. People don't like, me. If I were to tell Jaymee consistently that I think she's way too tall or that her hair is nappy, like, she would get annoyed after a while. But, like, that's what we live for, though. We live to tear you down to make me feel good.
Right.
Like, if you kept telling me that I was an awful broadcaster and my hair was fake or whatever you would say, like, to make me feel bad, to make yourself feel better about whatever insecurities you have, then, of course, it's like, well, why? And that's what I really think that a lot of this boils down to, though, is that I think LeVar Ball has a lot of insecurities, and I think that he really is just trying to, cast his insecurities on other people so that he feels better about himself.
He's probably just envious that his kids are going further than he was ever able to.
Right. Well, I mean, that also helps the fact that his kids actually have talent. That kind of helps that situation as well, too.
Right.
So, anyway, that's the big stuff right off the bat that we needed to get to. She's Jaymee. I'm Baxter. Remember to keep those comments coming and hit that share button as well. So many good things to continue moving on with on the program today. Hockey. You're a big hockey gal. I enjoy going to games. I read this article actually yesterday. You'll be proud of me. I was actually looking at hockey things.
Baxter.
I know. The old dog learns a trick or two here and there, but I was reading an article, and I, for some reason, of course, now cannot find it because I was trying to bring it up again. I want to say that it was Winnipeg that was voted the least favorable place to play by all NHL players. And I could be totally off on that, but I want to say it was Winnipeg. And I just found that interesting because obviously Winnipeg recently got that franchise just a couple of years ago, the Winnipeg Jets. But I wanted to get your thoughts about that potential news, if that is actually real. I
mean, I've never been to Winnipeg, so I don't know what it's like there, and I don't play hockey. So I think a lot of it has to do also with not just the city itself, but how other teams are treated within the city itself and within the arenas. I know. Okay, so like when we have visiting teams come in, like they get fed a meal afterwards, and we have obviously like visiting locker room attendants that take care of loading on their buses or loading their stuff on their buses or getting them food or whatever they may need. So I think that may have something to do with it. I don't know what article you read, so I'm totally just
I'm trying to find it again. I know. I'm going to have to see because I had it off of an app, so I needed to take a look at it this morning and
so it might have something to do with that. It might also have something to do with how fans are, like visiting fans. Like when you go to Chicago, like their fans suck. Like they are awful.
Right.
So maybe it has something to do with that. People are mean to them. I'm not really sure.
I'm going to have to keep looking and see if I can find it officially, but I'm almost positive that it was Winnipeg. It was from one of those like hockey rumors sites, I guess. But
okay.
I was just perusing about. But anyway, the playoffs, though, as a whole for the NHL are basically decided. The Western Conference has all 8 of their teams locked and loaded. One team left to claim a spot in the East. Might be Toronto, might be New York, might be Tampa. Doubtful, though. It's likely going to be Toronto, though, as they've got a 3-point lead on the Islanders and the Lightning as well. But this playoff system, as you mentioned off the air to me, very similar to the NCAA tournament in the fact that it is the tournament that, it's the 1 seed versus the 8 seed, 2 versus 7 kind of a thing. Nobody's getting first-round buys, any of that business. So this field is dominated by teams, that have been a little surprising, like the Columbus Blue Jackets. Nobody really saw a lot of Columbus coming in. The Predators sneaking into the Western Conference at that 8th seed as well, too. But how do you sum up what we've got going into this 2017 NHL playoffs right now?
Well, so I feel that how the NCAA does theirs, right? So you have like your 1 seed plays your 30 or whatever.
16.
Yeah, because you have 2 different conferences, right?
Right.
Like, okay, so but so I was talking to someone at work about this last night where because the AHL, their playoffs are coming up as well, they both end around about the same time. The AHL goes a week longer than the NHL, but instead of being your highest seed plays your lowest seed, it's by division. And then, so the number 1 seed in the Pacific could still be the worst. Okay, that can't be the worst because that doesn't make any sense.
They could just not be as good.
Correct. But you're going to end up playing them eventually. Like, wouldn't you rather get your worst teams out of the way first rather than playing... Okay, so like right now the Blackhawks are matched up to play Nashville.
That'll be fun.
Which is not good.
No.
So Calgary needs to lose.
Please, Calgary. Please lose.
So even though... But I don't know how to... get this all out. Like my thoughts aren't keeping up with my head. I just think it should be. At first, when I was talking with everyone about this yesterday, I thought that it was good, and then they were like, "But why?" Because I was like, "Who wants to be the low seed playing, your 1 seed?"
Well, of course
out of
not.
The entire everybody.
Yes. No, and I get what you're talking about, but at the same time, I mean.
But then maybe
aren't you just glad to be in the? Are you just glad to be in the playoffs though? Because would you rather be the 8th seed and have to play Chicago, or would you rather be Winnipeg or LA and not make the playoffs? People care about playoffs,
right?
Doesn't matter if you're a 1 seed or an 8 seed. People want their teams to make the playoffs every year, depending on if they get bounced in the first round or win the Stanley Cup.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I just don't want to play Chicago.
Well, of course not. And I get that. If I was a Predators fan, too, I'd be sitting there going, no, please, dear God, no. Like, I don't want to play. Nobody wants to play Chicago willingly. That's the thing. I mean, I mean, I look over at the Eastern Conference. I don't really feel like the Maple Leafs are going, yes, we got Washington. Like, no, everyone's terrified. That's why they're the 1 seeds, because they're the best teams.
Right.
8 never wants to play 1, even in the NBA playoffs, even in the NFL as a whole, too. I know the 1st and 2nd seeds get those first-round buys, but, I mean, if you're a 6 seed, if I'm the 6 seeded whoever's, and then I have to go then play, like the Texans last year,
right,
I had to go play the Patriots.
But in the NCAA, you have your 1 seeds play your 16th, right?
Right.
Right, so why are we only playing 8 when there's still 2 different, like they could still have it 1 through 16. Do you understand what I'm saying? Instead of 1 through 8 and 1 through 8.
Oh, you're saying, well, it's because of the conference, though. That's why. You're saying for the NHL as a whole, you're saying why don't we do just one big bracket instead of the conferences?
Well, there's 4 different conferences. So
yes.
What about 2?
Well, you have the East and the West conference.
Correct. So, okay. Oh, let me bring this up.
You have the divisions is what you're saying.
So you have your divisions 1 through 8, but you're only playing 1 and 4. That makes sense.
I get what you're saying, yes. No, I do, but I think that the reason that it is you take the 2 divisions in the Eastern and 2 divisions in the Western, and then you take the top 4 teams of each, or however they end up doing it.
Right.
Those are the teams that make the playoffs. And then you have the points values is how they're obviously sorted, of course. So Washington has 116 points. Toronto only has 93. So therefore, the 8 teams that have the most points
play. Right.
So then that's why the team with the most points against the team with the least amount of points that makes the playoffs play each other. You need to have, because of how the league is set up, you have to have the East versus the West when it comes to the Stanley Cup final.
Correct.
So that's why you can't do just a 1 through 16. Because then, Washington would be the 1 seed, and then Pittsburgh would be the 2 overall seed, and then it starts to get a little messy after that in the sense of then Chicago would be the 3 overall seed. I mean, that would certainly be interesting, and I'm definitely a big fan of those style of tournaments because I think it does kind of level the playing field a little bit more. But, I mean, you look at who would the 16 seed be. Toronto would be there at 93 points, so Toronto would at the moment would be the 16 seed. So Nashville, instead of having to play Chicago, would then have to play Pittsburgh. Would you rather that? Would you rather play Pittsburgh over Chicago?
Maybe.
Maybe? I don't think so. I would rather deal with Chicago than Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, I know. Looking back on comments real quick, Tyler says that's probably, going back to Winnipeg, that's probably based on the weather in Winnipeg. From what I have heard, it is so cold there that there's not much life and the guys don't have much to do.
I did find the article, by the way.
Oh, you did?
I'll let you finish your thoughts.
No,
though.
go.
Well, the article was a survey that is run every year by ESPN, of which NHL cities are the most unpopular among NHL players. This year, the Winnipeg Jets took the top spot from the Edmonton Oilers, who placed second, and the New York Islanders finished third. ESPN's methodology is simple and admittedly flawed, of course, but it's one of the only glimpses into how NHL players feel. They asked 9 player agents to list the top 3 teams most often listed on the no-trade clauses. Winnipeg was the top of the 6 of the 9 answers. A cold destination coupled with limited success explains its unpopularity. Edmonton places second, of course, because they've been having issues recently, but are kind of on the up and up thanks to guys like Connor McDavid in recent years. So Winnipeg, according to ESPN's poll, who talks to the 9 NHL player agents per team, is the least attractive destination to go play. Which is funny because they're doing okay. They're going to just miss the playoffs this year. I mean, they're going to finish in 9th place, most likely, unless LA somehow skips over the top of them. But Winnipeg is going to finish in 9th place in the West. Not awful, but not great, obviously. You could have been Colorado, but you're not, so that's something. But Winnipeg, I mean, Winnipeg's not a sexy location, though. Nobody wants to go to Winnipeg. No one's vacationing in Winnipeg. People are vacationing in Vancouver or Calgary or even maybe Ottawa or Toronto for sure. Toronto's a gorgeous city. I've been there a couple of times. I love going to Toronto. It's basically a bigger Chicago, even though I think technically Chicago's bigger. And
Canada's really expensive to live in, right?
Yes, I believe so, but free healthcare. So, I mean, give and take.
Yeah, but do you get free healthcare if you're just there on a visa to work?
That I don't know. I think you have to be a full-time resident. We'll have to get an intern on how that actually works. Brian says it's all about money and travel. He also says Canadian teams are usually less desirable because of the weakness of the Canadian dollar. That's a very good point. It's not the loonie, is it? I forget what the Canadian...
I have no idea.
Forget what it is. Is it the loonie? Somebody remind us what it is. Is it the loonie for the Canadian dollar? I do not remember, unfortunately. I want to say it's the loonie because it's like, oh, that's such a Canadian thing, kind of a thing. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the loonie.
I just learned a word yesterday, and I totally forgot it already. It's when you go caving and you wear one of those...
Spelunking?
Yes!
You've never heard of spelunking?
No! How many times have you been splunking in your life?
2 or 3 times.
Nobody could believe that I didn't know what that word was.
Spelunking, yeah. It's a thing.
Why?
It doesn't really make any sense.
No.
Like, I mean, you would be like, oh, rock caving or caverning or something that would make so much more sense. But like spelunking, it's like,
right.
I'm not spelunking in a cave. I'm climbing.
Right.
That's such a, I mean, those are the niche sports that people are just like, oh my gosh, I'm a hardcore spelunker. It's like, you just want to make yourself feel better because you're just walking around in a dark cave for a couple hours. Like,
you have a flashlight. What's so cool about that?
It's terrifying, honestly. The couple of times I've done it in Wisconsin, it's terrifying.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like it.
Super tight spaces, not cool, not fun. Kind of how I feel at the club sometimes. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is awkward.
I'm really awkward too. I'm
Yeah.
like, tall white girl right here. Hey.
But then you get enough in me, and then I'm like, spelunking. It's basically, no. I was like 12 the last time I spelunked. We don't have caves in Florida.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It is spelunking. Correct us if we're wrong on this one, folks. Spelunking, the art of caving. That's not the word, but the art of climbing in a cave? Is that what it technically is?
I guess.
How did that even come up in a conversation with you yesterday?
Because we had a band setting up at the bar, and the one of the guys was like doing all the wiring, so he had a little thing on his head, and one of the servers was like, "Oh, this guy has a headlamp," and she's like, "I wonder if he's going spelunking," and for some reason I didn't see the guy at first, so I thought she meant I just translated it to the fact that he had his the headlight on his car was out.
Sure.
I don't know how that's what my mind translated to. And then all of a sudden she started talking about going cave hiking, and she's like, yeah, it's called spelunking.
Spelunking.
And I was like, that is not true. If you knew the girl, you would understand why. I thought she made it up.
Is it that girl that we know, that I know, or no?
Do you know her?
No, but like the girl like you told me about before?
Probably.
Okay.
Hopefully she's not watching. Just kidding.
We love your views. Hit the share button. Seriously, though, keep the comments rolling, guys. We will definitely keep looking at them as they keep rolling in. Questions, thoughts, comments, prayer requests. We're all about it here on the Brew Sports Network. Remember to hit that share button as well, too. The likes keep piling up as well, too, which is great, so keep those coming as well. Jamie, I believe it is Friday, which is a great time to be alive, usually. I mean, is it your favorite day of the week? I don't know. I guess I don't know from a day perspective. Is there a good day?
If I could pick my favorite day, it would probably be Sundays. And if Sunday's not my favorite day, then it's probably Monday morning.
Is it Sunday because it's a fun day?
Yeah.
That makes total sense to me. I was trying to think of, what is it? Miss Congeniality. It's like, what's your ideal day? And she's like, well, probably, I forget what it is. Isn't it like April or March or whatever? Like, because it's not too hot, it's not too cold. You need a light jacket. Like, I don't remember the day it is, but that's
April. I don't know. I don't remember what she says.
I don't remember either. I don't. But Friday usually means you have something to rant about. That's the real reason why I've been taking my sweet time trying to transition to what exactly I'm talking about. But it's time for Jamie's rant, which is the best part of Fridays. Woo!
My rant is that the Rio Olympics remains $32 million in debt.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So as I continue reading this article, it talks about how hosting the Olympics in any city is bad for any city because they put all this money into all these new hotels and these new venues and blah, 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 and they lose all this money. And now Rio has until June to settle its accounts, which is obviously not going to happen because it's $32 million and we're talking about
settle
Rio
their
de Janeiro.
accounts. That's amazing. It's kind of like, yeah, man, like, come on, Rio. Got to pay up, otherwise,
right.
I'm going to get knocked out.
Is it possible for it to be that bad in every city it goes to? Maybe put the Olympics in a city that you don't need to rebuild an entire city for.
Well, this is the big thing, too. I feel like at this point, with the consistent failures of the aftermaths of any Olympics, winter, summer, etc. Winter, you can get away with a little bit because it's like, well, yeah, we did it in a snowy area. Like, Salt Lake or wherever the heck they did it a couple of years ago is not hurting because it's a budding city.
Right.
Makes total sense. But the winter or the summer games, that's where there's an issue. I almost feel like you need to have the Olympics. You need to build just this, basically almost this Olympic city, and you just have every Olympics there. You just always have the Olympics there. That way it's always upkeep. That's why it's always fresh and hot, and it's the very best of the pools and the tracks and the fields and everything. I think that would just save so much time and effort instead of like decimating and killing workers and all of this stuff.
I also think, though, if you put it in somewhere like, let's say Chicago, I don't really know what Chicago has to offer that much, but I mean, they have a football field. They have baseball diamonds. I'm sure they have Olympic pools everywhere. There's the beach. There's plenty of hotels, so that's not an issue. There's transit from Milwaukee there, St. Louis there. Like, you could take the train, you could take a plane. Like,
trains, planes, and automobiles.
As I said that, I knew that's what was going to be next. So, it's close to Milwaukee. It's close to, I don't know how far Indianapolis is away, but like an hour or two.
From Milwaukee?
I don't know. No, to Chicago.
Oh, I was like...
No, Chicago. So I feel like if you just put it in smarter locations, like South Korea, you think they're going to be doing good after they have the Olympics there? Probably not. They're probably going to be in the same boat, except for their former governor, Sergio Cabral, I believe is maybe how you say his name, probably not, who helped the city win the Olympic bid in 2009. He's now in jail. But their jails are so poor that they had to take the mattresses from the Olympics and donate them to the poor, or to the jail.
Wow.
So they are now sleeping on the...
That one guy's like, this is what Michael Phelps slept on.
Yeah, right. So he was arrested in November for organizing a group that made $66 million in bribes.
Jeez. Yeah, the Olympics are one of the most corrupt, but also on the flip side, the most prestigious things that you can win in the wide world of sports. And Tanner yelled at me for this a couple of days ago because Tanner loves to yell at me. I said I would rather win a gold medal than a championship in any major sport because the gold medal is timeless, I feel like. I mean, you are an Olympian.
Right.
I would rather be an Olympian than an all-star. I'd rather be an Olympian than an all-pro. I'd rather be an Olympian than an MVP. I mean, if I'm an Olympian and I win a gold medal, I am in the sports world's minds one of the best in the entire world. I don't care if I'm playing badminton or if I am playing basketball. I mean, I am considered one of the greatest and best in the world at that point. That's what I want to do. So, I mean, the fact that this tournament takes so many hits or misses, and I mean, even hearing about the World Cup and the corruption that goes into some of those soccer cities as well, too, is just unbelievable. There's so much that could be done to help these people, yet people turn the blind eye or don't care that hundreds of workers are dying just to build these Olympic venues. So it's like when they actually get around to having the Olympics, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful, it's amazing. And then you get that one person that's like, did you guys know that 432 people died making the stadium because of the intense slave labor conditions? It's like, well, yeah, that stuff is never talked about, unfortunately, which is just atrocious. And that's why I think the Olympics are kind of trending downwards because of the massive lack of respect for the workers and the cities and the general nonsensical caring of anything that has to go into what makes the Olympics so special. It rubs me the wrong way, and it really bothers me in that sense. So I agree with you. I equal your rant.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I echo your rant. Jeff says good morning on Facebook. A good morning to you, Jeff. Keep those comments coming. What do you make of all the Olympic craziness? Let us know your comments in the section below. Hit that share button as well, too. Let your friends know what we've got taking place here on Brew Sports. So, Jamie, today's a very special day in my life.
Oh, boy.
It is. 5 years ago today, and we can tie this into our Flashback Friday. 5 years ago today, my wife said yes to going on a date with me. And we've been dating ever since.
Well, look at that.
So, April 7th, 2012, she said yes, finally, after me pursuing her for 4.5 months. And we've been together ever since. So,
beautiful.
There's your heart-warming, heart-fluttering moment of the day. So, 5 years. We've got a wonderful child out of it. Been married for
But they gave their cats up. Don't forget that.
Nobody's perfect, Jamie. I could go get them back if I wanted to. I'm going to just get them and then give them to you. Be like, here,
I don't
Jamie.
Want them.
Well, then don't. You don't have anything else.
Yeah, I have one cat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't need all.
Enough.
Is that enough though?
Yeah.
I feel
or
like
I'll be single forever.
3. When does the crazy cat lady status set in? Is it post 1 cat?
I think it's probably 3.
Is it 3?
Yeah, because 2 is kind of like, Harold needs a friend. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, all right, yeah, you're trying to help each other out.
3 would make me crazy, I think.
3 would make you crazy,
especially because I live in like a 1-bedroom apartment.
I was going to say you're never home though, so
right.
I mean, you wouldn't have to care about it though too much because I mean the cats would take care of themselves. Just leave the food in the dish and clean the litter box every other day.
My face would be all scratched up because they'd all attack me.
Cats say that and do the darndest things. Honestly, we need to get Keith's cat on. Felix, we got to have a cat day. You bring Harold.
When my best friend moved to Nashville, well, even before that, when we lived together with our cats, this was before I had Harold, and then we moved out of each other. Like, we moved away from each other. We would FaceTime. We'd make our cats FaceTime.
You're that parent.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
was cute, though.
Yeah, of course. I mean, certain owners, though. I mean, I'm come from the state of Florida where you would see the children outside the stroller and the animals inside the stroller, like being pushed around. Like that, to me, is obsessive. Like I know pets that have better health and life insurance policies than I do, and I have a very good life insurance policy for those that care. But like. This is unbelievable, the pet hospitals and the pet doctors that are down, at least in Florida.
And, like, pet spas and...
Right.
Brush your dog, call it a day.
Seriously. Don't be a lazy American. Maybe it's just because white people. I don't know. Darn white people. If you don't understand that, go back and watch the earlier part of the show. LeVar Ball hates white people. You're caught up. Mm-hmm. But, like... Why? Why do people spend so much time grooming their dogs and grooming their cats? Like, let's be honest. Like, these are animals. They should be out in the wild, realistically, but we've tried to domesticate some of them. Like, don't get me wrong. I would love a dog at some point, but am I going to take my dog to the doggy spa or to, scratch me, pet me, fluff me, whatever the heck they're called? Like, I mean, if I have to go out of town for a week and so does my wife, well, sure, someone's got to watch the dog, maybe. But, like, those places are expensive as well, too. I'd rather just find a neighbor to check in on the dog or have him go dog sit me for a while. Like, that doesn't make any sense to spend hundreds of dollars on pet care when they're an animal. They're not a child. They're an animal. You disagree with me?
I disagree with you to the fact that I think if you're going away, it's okay to kennel your dog or leave them at, like, doggy daycare. I don't think dogs need pedicures.
It's expensive, though.
That's part of getting a dog. It's like a child. You still have to, like, pick up its poop and brush its hair and make sure it eats and give it lots of love. I don't think dogs need to go to spas. That I don't think is a necessary thing. But I think they should get their normal checkups, and I think they should.
Well, of course, you don't want to just leave your dog out for dead and be like, well, good luck and see what happens. Of course, you want to get a checkup. You have to do that. Like, oh, my cat's had to get shots. So of course, you got to do that. That's a necessity if it goes along with the territory.
I would rather have a friend watch my dog than, like, leave it at a kennel 100%.
Yeah, same here.
But not because kennels are too expensive. It's because I know my friends will give them lots of love.
Give them love.
Give them love.
Harold. We need to get Harold on the show.
No, he's rude.
Sounds like bad parenting.
Whatever. You can't trade a cat.
Can't you, though?
No.
Ring a bell.
No.
Use the bell. Speaking of pets, the Miami Marlins are some fish swimming about. They have some new interesting news swimming in their pond that is Miami. Keep swirling my coffee, trying to be all like, I meant to say that. So the Miami Marlins apparently might have a new investor, and the man named Derek Jeter, who is looking to be not a majority owner, but looking to purchase part of the team to help kind of change ways of the slow, terrible, awful product that is the Florida, then now Miami Marlins.
But this isn't
team.
Something new.
This has been something he's been trying for a while, isn't it?
Since 2014, I believe.
Did you know that during his career between contracts and endorsements, Derek Jeter has made $400 million? $400 million between his career and endorsements.
That's probably why he's one of the top, most charitable athletes, you would think, because who needs $400 million?
That's true. I mean, after taxes, I think he's estimated at being worth $221 million.
Wow.
Got the hot wife, got the hot life.
And he is not attractive, so...
You don't think so?
No. His head looks like a hot dog.
I feel like that's like your go-to for a lot of people. Be like, he looks like a hot dog.
No, I think if I had to pick a talent, I think my talent is that I'm really good at picking what people look like. Like, if they look like a dog or a carrot or something else, I think he looks like a hot dog.
Fair enough. Catherine wants to know what is happening right now. Catherine, I don't know if any of us really know what's happening right now, honestly. I mean, can you help explain what's happening right now, Jamie? I mean, we're talking about, we just went from pet care to Derek Jeter to hot dogs, so
yeah.
We're kind of par for the course this morning, Catherine.
It's early.
So try to keep up, I guess.
It's early.
Jeff does agree with you. He does say hashtag Team Jamie for the dog care.
Thanks, Jeff.
Too expensive.
No, then don't get a dog.
You can have a dog, but have a kid or somebody from the neighborhood come over and watch your dog.
Yeah, but you can't just be like, hey, dog, you got food, bye. You got to take it for a walk, and they need to be fed.
That's what I'm saying.
Play
You enlist the
outside.
services of a neighborhood kid or a family member to either come and check in on the dog every couple of days, or you have them go stay with a family member. Don't spend $700 for a week to have, Fido get scratched and fluffed and manicured.
Yeah, but if you don't have anybody to watch them,
then you don't go on the vacation.
No. I would not go on vacation because I don't want to spend money to put my dog in a kennel. That's stupid.
I don't agree.
Then don't get a dog, Baxter. You'd be a terrible dog owner.
I'm going to be the best dog owner in the world. I'm going to be a woof above the rest of them.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will. Go. Talk to me more about things.
No. Okay. Anyways, I don't know now. You got me all flustered about this bad dog care.
You don't even have a dog.
Yeah, because I don't have time. That would make me a bad dog owner.
I don't know if I believe you.
I don't even have time to sleep 8 hours a night. I don't have time to take a dog
Who
out
sleeps
for
for
a
8
walk.
hours a night?
You go to bed at 9.
Jeff wants to know what I look like.
An idiot.
Well, if Derek Jeter's a hot dog and I'm an idiot, there's your spectrum, I guess, of attractiveness. Jeff says, of course, to add fuel to the fire, says his dog died at a kennel.
Okay, well, that was a crappy kennel, and you should have spent more money on a good one. I don't know, Jeff.
Or you should have had family members check out the kennel. See, now I feel like Jeff is slowly starting to come to my side of the party on this one.
No, he's not. Accidents happen. That's not the first time I've heard of an animal being killed at a kennel. I mean, it didn't
And the
get
people
killed,
that,
but die.
mourn for weeks upon weeks of their pet
Oh,
dying.
Baxter, we got to change the subject.
Come on.
It's their family member and their babies.
But it's not a human being.
It doesn't matter. You take care of it like it's one.
No.
Oh, my gosh.
Not
My
even remotely
stepmom
shows.
this is creepy. My stepmom has all of our animals cremated in our house.
That's creepy. That's excessive. That's no. Know when to say no.
I don't think it's wrong to be sad that your pet died. I don't think
You
it's
can
wrong
be
to
sad, but
spend-
to mourn and have a funeral.
If you have a dog for 13 years, yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're a parent and you have a dog and a child, both for 13 years, and
Yeah.
they both die at the same time, who are you more sad
Different.
about?
You birthed a child. You made a child.
but
That is
you would still
completely
be
different.
as
You're
sad?
still allowed to be you're still allowed to be sad for weeks and weeks and weeks.
But the
about your dog.
excessiveness of a
Doesn't-
dog dying would be like, all right, well, we move on. I would be sad, but it was a good dog. I'm going to miss you, bud. But I'm not spending more than a day or two. If my child dies, I am
my gosh,
wailing.
Baxter.
I am quitting my job to stay home and cry. I'm not doing that if my dog dies.
Ugh.
I'm just not.
Awful. Don't ever buy a dog. You'll
Or,
just give it
or
away
any
anyways.
pet. I mean, whether it's a bird, a gerbil, or a snake.
Yeah, that's different than a dog.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I will allow
A
a
gerbil
day.
sits in a cage. A snake sits
I
in a rock.
will allow a day or two worth of mourning for an animal to pass. Be like, oh my gosh, what a great dog.
Oh my gosh.
If this is a dog though that is Lassie or something that helps me get out of a well, I have this traumatic moment that this dog saves me from. Okay, maybe I'll take a couple of days. But if my child dies, I'm gonna be just beside myself. If my dog dies, I'm gonna be like, well, get another one.
And this is the day I quit.
This is Jamie's last show, if you didn't
Yeah.
know, because apparently I hate dogs.
Never
Somebody
get a
come to
dog.
my defense on this one. I can't be the only one that feels this way. I can't. It's not physically possible that I am the minority in this. It just doesn't make sense to
I've
me.
never met someone that's had a dog that's died and they've only been sad about it for 2 days. I completely understand that you think grieving for a child and a dog is completely different, and I agree with that. But I do not think that people who are upset for more than 2 days about their lifelong best friend of 13 years is not allowed to be sad. They take care of it. It's someone you spend time with all day, every day. You pick up their poop. You're
That's
allowed
a
to be
relationship
sad.
right there.
You're allowed to be sad.
So because I don't pick up my child's poop, that doesn't make me... I'm not allowed to be sad about if he were to die?
You are allowed to be sad if your child dies. You are allowed
You're
to be...
basically making it sound like I shouldn't
No,
care.
I'm not. I did not just say that. I just said that I understand that the grieving is different. But people are allowed to be sad for more than 2 days when their dog dies. I'm fighting for the dog right now.
Jamie doesn't even own a dog, for those that are just tuning in.
No, but that doesn't mean I don't love them. And I don't own a dog because I would be a bad dog owner because I work too much. That makes me a good person.
Well, Liz says we should have just agreed to disagree, and I think that's probably a smart place on this one. Greg says no fur babies.
Greg.
Jeff says hashtag Team Jamie as a grief counselor. Yeah, I think that'd be. I mean,
that'd be terrible.
It'd be terrible. Like, oh, this person, I'd be like, well, get over it. What are you gonna do about it now? I'd be like, okay, gosh. Adam says, good show. Always makes the last hour of work go quickly listening to this. Thanks, Adam. We appreciate you tuning in, sir. What do you do for work the last hour? My gosh, if this is his last hour of work, I question what he does for work. Maybe he works the third shift. I don't know what you do, Adam. But if this is the last hour of your work, I don't know what time you're going to work in the morning. But we salute you, early risers. That's for sure. Are we done? Are we done with the dogs? Are we done with?
Yeah.
Were we trying to do something else? Oh, we were trying to talk about Derek Jeter.
We were. And then you just became cold-hearted.
That's incorrect, but thank you for playing.
If Derek Jeter decides to put some money into the Marlins, it could cost him anywhere from $800 million to $1.6 billion.
The team is worth $1 billion. That's all they're worth. So that's why I find it concerning that he would put that much money into it.
Maybe.
Seems like a little overkill to me personally.
Yeah, I don't even know why he would spend more. Maybe for. I got nothing.
Okay. Maybe to repair the fountains that they have in the outfield or the waterfalls.
Yeah.
The Marlins Park is kind of a cool looking stadium, but like, I mean, there's just this conversation was had earlier on Happy Hour this week that there are just some bad baseball cities. They're just bad sports towns.
Do you think that Florida, like when you think of Florida, and maybe it's just because I'm not from there and I've only been to Florida once, like I don't think of sports teams being there, right? Like.
That's a very accurate statement.
Like Michigan, they have college football, and so do they in Florida. But when you think of Michigan, you think of football, hockey, baseball, college football.
I think when I think of Florida, I think of college football before I think of any pro teams.
And it's crazy to me that like all of these stadiums, not all of them, but the majority of stadiums are just food, drinks, baseball, or whatever it may be. But everything in Florida seems to have cabanas and hot tubs and Pools and
the Jaguar Stadium has a huge pool.
Yeah, why?
Because they have to keep the fans engaged. It's also hot as hell in Florida, so you have to incorporate water somehow. Why is UCF getting a lazy river in the middle of their campus? Because it's hot, and they need to keep people entertained. People aren't trying to go to Jacksonville Jaguar games on purpose. They want to have a reason to go there that actually involves, aside from the team actually not being good. Like Tampa Bay, they have a freaking pirate ship in their stadium that shoots cannons off every time they do something good. Like, Packers don't have that because the Packers fans actually like them. The Buccaneer fans are like,
so that's my point. Like, it's just crazy that they're coming up with all of these weird, wacky ways.
I mean,
to
it's
keep people
super cool that they've got a freaking pirate ship, and it's like that's awesome.
Pirate ship is different than a hot tub or a pool.
A little different.
Yeah.
A little different. Very close, though. What else do you make, though? I mean, that's a very valid point, though. I mean, when you think of Florida, nobody sits there. Like, if I were to ask you to name all the pro sports teams in Florida, could you do it?
No.
So, I mean, I can try. You've got the Lightning. You've got the Panthers. So there's your two hockey teams.
Yep.
You're proud of me with hockey
I
first. You've got Orlando City, and the Orlando Pride. Those are the two male-female soccer teams. You've got the Buccaneers, the Jaguars, the Dolphins. Those are your three there for football. You've got the Magic, and you've got the Heat for basketball. And then you've got the baseball teams, which are the Marlins and the Devil Rays. So they've got
11.
11 pro teams.
And you don't think of Florida as being a... Not you. We don't think of Florida as being a state.
I don't know if I'm missing anybody.
A sports state.
I don't think I'm missing anybody. But, yeah, 11 pro sports franchises, and people don't care.
Right.
Don't think about it. But now if I were to ask you to say name the big college things in Florida, you'd be like, oh, Florida, FSU, and Miami. Boom, boom, boom.
Right.
Those are the three right off the bat. And then if you really want to get snooty, you can be like USF, UCF, FIU, FAU, FU, F your mom. Like, you can go like all of it. I mean, that's how you can go all over the place with the U's and the F's down there in Florida. But that is a very valid point, though. Florida is just not a pro sports centered team because you look at the population. That's why I always would joke with people and they're like, where are you from in Florida? I'm like, I'm from Naples. They're like, oh, where's that? I'm like, it's so far south that I'm up east. If that makes any sense, because everybody from New York, everybody from Boston, everybody from just New England comes to Naples. So it's basically a warm New England down in Naples.
Okay.
That's all it is, because you got, Johnny there from the Bronx, and you've got Billy over there who lives from Boston that all have retired or is just coming down to the area now. So it's very much not a like, welcome to Southern Florida. Like, that's not it. It's all like, parking the car here in Southern Florida. Like, okay, like it's Completely different. It's very interesting that you bring that up because that is something that as a person that lived in Florida for 8 years, I just didn't think much about. It's like, oh yeah, we have pro teams. Never cheered for them. Never cared. Go Packers.
Go Pack. I don't know.
Okay. Is it Flashback Friday time?
Sure.
All right, Flashback Friday here on Brew Sports. We take a look at some of the things that Jamie and I did with our lives back in the day. I'm trying not to die for a quick second here.
Look what cheesy quote I've posted.
Let's see. We always like to go back and check
ago.
out what our lives were like back in the day. Let's see here. So I was raised Catholic, so I was a big fan of Easter Vigil back in the day. So some of my statuses from back in the day. Here's my cute little brother from back in the day when Seth is growing up so fast. Dying Easter eggs. Oh, you're adorable. And then Liz, my wife, said excited for the beautiful Easter Vigil candlelight service at the cathedral. It was gorgeous back in the day. And then we started talking about how cheesy we were. What have you done the last 730 days, my wife asked. I have laughed, cried, and most importantly, fallen in love with the most amazing man. Happy anniversary. I loved you then. So in 2012, you stole my heart. 2014, you popped the question. 2015, stealing my last name.
Oh, yeah, I forgot it was your anniversary. So
yeah, happy 3-year anniversary. We're just the most adorable. I was also down in Laredo, Texas last year for the ABA championships as well. So all kinds of fun stuff for Baxter Colburn throughout the years, because my wife and I are the most cute thing. Like I just got to show this picture real fast. Like this is probably one of my favorite pictures of my wife and I. I mean, isn't she the most cutest thing? Like we're down here on Fifth Avenue in Florida, and she's just the most adorable thing in the world. Because I love her so much. All right, there we go. I'm done. That's my Flashback Friday. That's what I did with my life on this day in Baxter history. What did Jamie do with herself?
I ate mac and cheese, and then for the last 3 years I've been to Brewers games. It was opening day 2 years ago. Last year I just happened to go. Philip Forsberg had tied the most goals in a single season.
Wow, good for Phil.
And I'm pretty sure he has surpassed that this year. But
good
yeah,
for you.
That was it. A lot of baseball, even from 5 years ago. Still,
wow.
Yeah, there was a girl passed out in a bar that I have a picture of too. So that's
no cheesy quotes though for us? No, like I loved you once and then the wind blew me like a dandelion and I became a dog?
The only thing I have is now he's wrapped around her finger and she's the center of his whole world. That country song. That was it.
Oh, sure.
That was it.
Wow.
Nothing too exciting.
Here, I expected better from you,
I
Jamie.
know. A lot of baseball.
A lot of baseball. Who'd have guessed? Jamie the baseballer. One of the other things we got to talk about here was I posted about this on Facebook earlier today, and I'm going to try to keep doing this going forward, about topics that you want us to talk about on the shows before we go on the air. Caleb commented saying he wanted us to talk about the 2017 Masters. Of course, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about it. Of course, Charlie Hoffman out to a 4-stroke lead on the rest of the field after just an incredible 65 he hit yesterday in the opening round, despite the almost 30-mile-an-hour winds and the ever-changing chaos that was taking place down at Augusta yesterday. But Charlie Hoffman, a 4-stroke lead. The top three behind him is McGirt, Westwood, and Duffner, tied with Garcia and Henley and Chappelle, Sullivan, Fitzpatrick, and Mickelson. A lot of guys shot 71s yesterday, and then it kind of all trickles on from there. The big question, of course, anytime a guy like Charlie Hoffman comes out of the gate, and not a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, Charlie Hoffman, like, wow, what a great player. Never heard of him in my life. But everybody always looks for that one person to wow the crowd and be like, whoa, he's the Cinderella this year, like, what kind of thing. Charlie Hoffman had himself a pretty good day yesterday, but overall, can he sustain it? They still got 3 more rounds to go. Guys like Rory McIlroy and Phil Mickelson, Justin Rose, are all still hanging around, and it's a four-round sort of tournament, folks. Like, there's a lot of golf still yet to play. If you do want to track Hoffman, he tees off today at 10:01 a.m. Eastern time. Some of the other opening tees tee off at 8:55 Eastern, so that's going to be getting off here just moments ago. So,
question,
please.
Do you really think Dustin Johnson really fell down the steps, and that's all that happened?
I see. I've been asked this question as well too, and it's hard to think that an athlete in his position could just fall down the stairs, you know?
And 3 stairs. He didn't fall down 8 flights. Like, I don't know. He didn't, 3 stairs.
Yeah. I fell down 1 stair the other day, but it was also pitch black in my house. So that was hard to see.
And you're here.
I am. Well, a little different. A little different. I'm not ranked number 1 in the world for broadcasting.
So, right. So, okay, exactly. And if you were, you would still come to work because you're not a little girl. Can't say that. Sensitive people.
Just kidding. You're not a little hamster. I don't know.
Exactly. He's ranked number 1. You suck it up and you give it a try.
But it's golf, though. It's a sport that utilizes your elbows, which he hurt, apparently. Because I'm wondering how he fell down the stairs that he hurt both his elbows and his back.
Who catches himself with their elbows? Like, nobody. When you fall down the steps, you fall on your butt. You catch yourself with your arms.
Well, my
and
bet
he didn't
is,
fall, forward.
My bet, though, is that he probably fell like this.
Right.
And, did this as he, came down.
No. His butt would have caught him. Something else happened.
You think he was drunk?
Probably.
Yeah. That has certainly been insinuated by a lot of people. I mean, they always do a Masters dinner the night before. And maybe Dustin was just getting a little slosh there with Justin Rose and Rory and some of the other boys, and they're like, let's go back to the rooms and have a little fun, a little this.
And he's injured enough to not play in the Masters. I don't believe it. My boss, who is a 33-year-old chubby middle-aged man. Sorry, yeah. Brian, I love you. His kid kneed him in the ribs at the Sky Zone bounce or whatever we were at the other day. He just kept popping ibuprofen all day and working. I mean, he was extremely in pain, which I was super embarrassing, I think, Brian. But pop some ibuprofen. You're a professional athlete.
Man up and move on.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, my one time I felt like a real Iron Man is the night that I broke my foot during a soccer game. But I didn't know it was broken at the time, so I got slide tackled in the game, was in a lot of pain, left the game for a little bit because my ankle was just on fire. Walked it off, came back in, scored a goal. I was like, woo, things are going great. And then as soon as the game was over, my foot blew up basically, and then I was like, oh, I broke my foot. But then I obviously didn't play again for a while, so then I had to get surgery. But falling down the stairs, hurting your back, hurting your elbows.
Yeah, he didn't sprain anything.
He
just
together.
Hit it. I sprained my ankle before New Year's, but I was still a trooper and went out. I was sober too when I fell, which was the worst part.
Yeah.
And I sprained my ankle.
Well, I mean, people know this even here. People, behind the cameras are laughing at us right now because I can't walk around the studio without kicking a light or tripping over a table.
Right.
I'm fully sober 96.7% of the time when I'm here on set. But, some people are just clumsy. Some people just have big feet. I have size 13 feet. It's very hard for me to
fell down
walk
3 stairs.
Stairs are difficult to walk down. I struggle to walk down the stairs in the studio as well. Jamie's calling some
bullshit,
some shenanigans. That's the word. It's like some yes. Greg says a dog should never be treated like a child. Evan says hashtag team dog, hashtag team Jamie. Jeff said I used to cry at Lassie the way Jamie cries at Parenthood. Adam says,
was so sad.
I've never seen it. My wife wants to start watching it. I'm like, I heard it's terrible. I don't want to watch it because it's so sad.
It's good.
Adam says, I'm in the UK. It's already nearly 2 p.m. here. Oh, that makes so much more sense, Adam. Well, thanks for tuning in from the UK. Evan also says, Jeter is awesome. Had the chance to interview him last year in MLB when the Yankees were in Milwaukee. Very friendly. He seems like a friendly guy. But he's also that guy, too. If you don't know a lot about Jeter's backstory, he was the guy that would send, gift baskets to the girls that he would bring back to his room and do things with that are, R-rated, basically. But he would give them gift baskets. And it was self-proclaimed. It's like if you hung out with Derek Jeter and did stuff, you were going to get a really nice gift basket with, expensive and fancy stuff.
That's interesting.
Very much so. Would you want a gift basket for doing things?
No.
That seems strange to me. I'd be like,
I'm also a lady, and I would never do those things.
Yeah. No, everybody, thank you. I'm glad. Good. Thank you for having standards. That makes me...
And he looks like a hot dog, so...
Hey, man, you drink enough, a hot dog turns into a brat after a while. Or wait, I guess that doesn't make sense. Or a Philly cheesesteak. I don't know. Whatever your fantasy food is. Bacon cheeseburger. That just sounds really good. Bacon cheeseburger, even though it's 8 in the morning. All right, Jamie, anything else you got for us? Should we finish this up? Should we go away? Should we tell the world to enjoy their weekend and come back again on Monday?
I think so.
I think you should tell people where to find us.
Do
your best Baxter impersonation and close out the show.
Well, this has been the Morning Brew.
Do it. I'm curious.
I don't know. I'm Jamie. He's Baxter. hit the like button, share this video, comment below, find us on social media at brewsports.net, at Baxter Colburn, at Jamie_Ebers. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, Spreaker. Crap. I was doing so good. brewsportsnet.com.
There it is.
And have a good freaking weekend.
Yeah.
Bye.
We'll be back here on Monday at 7 a.m. Central Time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Coming up next on Brew Sports is Halftime with myself and Tanner Burke at noon Eastern, 11 Central Time. That's Jamie. I'm Baxter. Always a pleasure. We'll see you guys back here on Monday. Have a great weekend.